Good evening and welcome to our free enterprise race tonight. This is the Fabul Gauntlet third round of Swiss. I am Baka Shinobi and I am joined by Christopher Warkin. How are you doing, Christopher?
I'm doing working amazing. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty great. We've got some pretty nice seeds going on here. We're starting with Kane and we've got two runners who are 2-0 so far. So one of them doesn't get to keep the pristine record, but one of them will. What do you
Yeah.
think is going to happen?
Well, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Invenerable, and then we've got the programmer, bigdunka. This is going to be just a full blown hype filled match. But really, it's going to boil down to the random objectives chosen for the night to see, and whether or not it's trolly or not. So, chat, are you wanting a troll seed or are you wanting a jet seed?
Well, to some people, the jet seeds are the troll seeds, so we'll have to see about that. There's a lot of interesting things. You usually do end up clearing a lot, as you could go and get stuck with a number of boss hunts that will take you scouring the earth, the moon, and the giant even, trying to find a boss. Or you could get some stuff that just puts everything in your way, and then you're not even underground, you're wondering, how do I go and kill Zeromus?
Yeah, that's totally a possibility with these random objectives, and then just the randomizer in general. You could, never hit the moon. You could never hit underground, and you could be on your way to be killing the big Z.
Yeah, and that's definitely a problem because no underground, no moon, and you're not really getting a lot of levels. But we're starting, and let's see who our second character is and what our 5 objectives are going to be this seed.
We've got the engineer Sid and a Masamune, so hoping for an early edge to take advantage of that big power drop early on. Otherwise, it's just cash in the bank.
Very true. We could go and find Edge in somewhere incredibly inconvenient like the Giant, because while all characters are guaranteed, there's only one duplicate, and you could go and have to try and get through the Giant to get any good characters. That said, you could be forced to do the Giant anyways, because that could be one of our objectives, as we're about to see now.
Alrighty, looks like we have got Super Cannon, Baron Castle, Magma Key, Rat Tail, and Cecil. So we got a guaranteed Cecil, so we're most likely gonna see the ordeals play early, because especially if Tella shows up early as well, we're gonna be wanting that Paladin Cecil. It looks like we've got Porum guarded by a Dark Knight here in the Baron Inn, and it does look like Invenerable skipped the traditional loot route and headed straight for Damsian.
And getting a nice Dwarf back there, so that can go in back row Kane and let him go and do damage a bit more safely from the back row. And maybe he's just thinking, I want to run to these key item spots as soon as possible, because we've got 4 key item centered objectives, which is a bit different from what we have. No boss hunts and just finding one character, which can still be in the Giant, but it'll be interesting where we end up.
Very true. And with that character hunt being Cecil, bigdunka finds a lightsaber in Rose's house. So I mean, if nothing else comes, there's going to be a nice weapon for him, as well as a Gugnir spear in the back. So Invenerable may have just brained himself out of some quality items.
Indeed, the dancing dagger I saw early on seemed like a pretty nice weapon, but that Gugnir is definitely very helpful, and Skipping Baron could go and come back to haunt Invenerable if he doesn't go and find something. He finds an Ice Brand, which is not too far behind that, so he's not going to lose too much time, I think.
The Ice Brand is not a horrible weapon by chance, and honestly, with Baron Castle being one of the objectives, he's probably just saving that Baron loot route until he has the Baron key. But by that point in time, he may not need it.
Agreed, and we do see that bigdunka is checking the Mist Cave to see if there's a wall there, but is checking the Mist Cave for Mist Dragon, but finds a wall instead. Not quite what we're looking for. And a second Dwarf axe in Antlion Cave, so I don't think we're going to be short for tools to back row Kane this seed.
Yeah, we could back row Kane, we could back row Cecil. when we find him. There's a lot of back. There's going to be a lot of back rowing going on. I feel, especially if this ends up being a very melee heavy party composition.
Very true. We started with Kane and Sid, who are two. They both like heavy armor and they both like melee weapons, and they share a lot of them. So we could end up in a bit of a star pool for armor for these characters.
Very, very true. A lot of share. Definitely going to be a fairly shared item pool, both weapon and armor wise. But if we come across anything that's resistant to that physical damage, both these guys are going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, but they're finding Dark Elf right now, so that's not going to be too bad for them. It's just going to go and chew through a fair bit, and Sid's got a fair amount of HP to just eat these spells at this point, so don't think there's going to be any trouble here.
Yeah, and at Antland, there's not much magic ability anyway, so less than 50 points of damage on Sid, it's a cakewalk. This is a matter of time. But no matter what's here, save the Wyvern. It basically is anyway.
Very true. You can get some trolly stuff. Golbez is a bit annoying, even if he just tickles a bit with Lit 3. He still can go and take you down quickly at these low levels, but Sid is going to definitely be able to carry a lot of this overworld. And we find the hook. Are you looking forward to a hook seed?
Hook, where's the hook? Hook, where's hook? It's in the Antline cave. We just saw that.
So
and there I go, making references to movies in the 90s. Man, I'm showing my age.
Very much so. But we see that we've got lots of rune axes, so we're not going to be worried about melee weapons for a while, I think. But we are going to have some interesting choices for hook bosses, as if this is a logical path underground, we can't go and have the worst bosses of Golbez, Wyvern, or Valvalis, but we can still have some very rude ones like Ogopogo and Kanizo.
And in Rubicon spot, CPU is just an absolute pain in the rear, and that's just speaking from personal experience.
Oh yeah, that would definitely be a bit of a chore, because you do have the back row glitch on a lot of characters at least, so you've got something. Invenerable going and choosing to bring his hovercraft over there right away. He's been fond of the meta that if you have a character check your characters if they're gated behind key items, as Fusoya is a huge advantage early on the seeds.
Especially when you start to reach the mid game, when he starts to cap out, and Invenerable finding the trap chest in Eblan Cave and immediately nopes out. He knows that he doesn't stand a chance, so he's just going to reset, walk back in, avoid that chest, and it's free loot.
Yep, he's going to go and just loot this entire cave. Now that he knows where that chest is, he can go and take everything here with impunity, which might lead him to go and skip some other spots later. Ooh, finding sirens and hourglasses here. This is definitely a shop you like.
Yeah, this shop is absolutely loaded.
We'll see if there's any.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we'll see if there's any other stuff. Oh, kamikazes, starvels, tents even. This is definitely a very nice shop.
Yeah, no, Invenerable's a big proponent of kamikazes and blinks and illusions and all that. Not necessarily a theory I personally subscribe to, but hey, it works for him, and obviously because he's 2-0.
Yeah, illusions are very strong, and there's Gungnir's for sale in the shop, so if Invenerable really wants one, he can go and pick one up for himself. Meanwhile, we'll see that bigdunka has found Water Hag on Hobbs guarding Palom. That will go and give him a nice, powerful character. Not gated, but it's still a very good check, and he's going to go and get some free experience with this spot, so hard to go and feel bad about getting a Palom this early and getting him online this fast.
Yeah, finding an early Palom, getting your Quack Kit online super soon, you can't really ask for much else.
And Invenerable finding a third Dwarf Axe. I think the seed really wants you to keep Kane and back row glitch him.
Invenerable finding an early old man. Unfortunately, it's the wrong old man, but this early, tell us not that bad. Especially he's gonna be your exit supply, and if for nothing else, it's worth picking him up, considering you basically have to go this route anyway.
Indeed, exit, blink, all those are great spells, door deals, and you have a number of other useful things such as weak, the level 3 elemental spells, Cure 4, he's a pretty solid character when getting Cecil's an objective, so you want to do ordeals anyways.
Yeah, and all it takes is one Soma drop, and you've got a 2-minute Meteo.
Very true, or a more convenient D Machine Grinder, as he is definitely one of the great characters used for that strategy.
It can be a little painful with Tella, but it's your choice when your choices are Tella or Fu or not at all. I'll take Tella over not at all.
Indeed, especially with Soma drops being in shop, it's not too hard to go and find a place to get Tella's MP bumped up to that magic 100 line. There they are in the shop.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of the Soma drops, he finds one, and for Tella, all you need is one, and you're golden. So, and he just sells off some of the junk he has, and he can afford it.
Yeah, it looks like Invenerable is going and searching for armor shops, and guessing he's looking for cursed rings, as that's something that's been changed with the 4.0 version. You can find cursed rings in shops, and that minus 15 agility can be very helpful if you're trying to go and do some agility anchoring shenanigans.
Yep, shenanigans are going to be abound. He's going to be checking the shops here in Mysidia, and then I honestly expect after this a run up the mountain.
That's definitely not a terrible play for him, as he's got a fair amount of options for him. Life potions in Mysidia, that is definitely something you want to see. Invent is a bit low on cash, so maybe he'll go and look for new looting opportunities before going much further.
Well, you can always find loot on the mountain. Oh, no, he's going to pop down. He's going to grab his Palom off a hog. So this is definitely going to be a good thing. So he can get all of that experience for that Palom and bring that Quack Kid online just a little bit faster.
Indeed, and because it's such a free boss here with Water Hag, 3 hits and he's down, this is definitely not going to cause any real delay for Invenerable. And bigdunka has found his hook and is now choosing to go to Fabul rather than checking up on the character like Invenerable did. So, because we know it's Tella, he's not really going to be losing too much unless he needs to exit for some places, but can't exit out of Fabul Castle and can't exit out of Ordeals. So, no real big loss there at the moment.
Yeah, he's already done the places where exit is going to be supremely helpful in the early game as far as Antlion Cave and Mount Hobbs is concerned. So, again, not a huge loss.
Oh yeah, when we see that bigdunka is going and finding Ether 2s in Fabul, which it might go and change his opinion on those, because having Tella, it's useful to have those Ether 2s in the event you have to go long in a fight and you don't have any other white mages, and we did see Octomammoth is the boss at the Rubicon spot, who's not the most rude boss there, but he is going to hit reasonably hard, and that blink spell is going to be pretty helpful. But we find Kanizo at Evelyn, which is definitely not a terrible place to find him.
Yeah, that's a good preferred spot to have him, especially when everyone's real low level. But looks like bigdunka overestimated or underestimated the cast time on the lit 2. So Kanaza is going to wave if he doesn't die here real quick.
Yeah, this only has a few hundred or like 1500 HP. So it's, yeah, there he goes. Kanizo is just down. So this is not a scary spot for Kanizo. You're happy to see him rather than the hook path, that's for certain.
Absolutely. There are many other bosses I'd rather see on the hook route versus Kanazo. And for his troubles, he gets a heroin robe. So Porum not looking horrible at this point. You could definitely use her with bows and arrows for a while until later on when Tella becomes obsolete as far as magic power is concerned, and then just switch over to heals because she'll have the levels by that point in time.
True, and just go pick her up before you go to Cave Eblin, do that Mad Ogre chest. You found some charm arrows, which will do bonus damage to ogres. It's not too hard to go and bring her up to berserk levels and just have her go and be a berserk bot. That'd be very helpful in that Octomammoth spot, as the more hits you can get off, the faster, the more tentacles the Octomammoth is going to lose, and the slower he's going to start doing damage to your characters.
Yeah, so either bows or a power staff, that'll work just fine. bigdunka is going to kick himself here in a little bit, spending all that money on exits when he could have just gone, check the hook route and have a free exit mage.
Yeah, that is a bit disappointing. Also, not checking the item shops, or the armor shops like Invenerable, so he does not seem as concerned with the idea of a curse string as Invenerable is.
Which could be a time save, but it could end up costing him in the long run. It's hard to tell at this point.
Yeah, if we just find one somewhere, it's going to go and be a pretty big boon for either player, as those curse strings, again, agility anchoring is such a very powerful tool in this game. It is, you really like it, especially for that Rubicant boss spot. If you can go and use some agility anchoring shenanigans where, to stop alluding to it, there's a limit as to how much faster than the anchor, which is the center character, anything else in combat can be. So if your middle character is incredibly slow, they cannot go and be too much faster than them. The max is effectively 5 times faster. So if you can get all of your party except your anchor to that speed, well, the boss no longer has that big advantage over you. And speaking of not having a big advantage, Valvalis is usually pretty rude, especially when she goes and throws out weak on your highest HP character. But with Kayn, we can stop her spin and take care of her annoying melee defense.
Yeah, Valvalis early on is just absolutely rude. Still weak to still somewhat weak to lightning, so not horrible damage coming out of Palom at that point in time. But Kayn is definitely going to be the hero this early on, especially against the Valvalis fight.
True, though in this spot, it's actually interesting is that there is no magic evade here, so even while Val's spinning, you can still hit her with the level 2 spells from Palom, which Invenerable is one of the people who has made a lot of efforts in categorizing that information. So he might have a little bit of an easier time because he could just simply leave Valvalis in the spinning form and just focus on beating her down with spells.
This is very true, but it's gonna end up being a lot faster if you're able to get your melee damage dealers involved on this too, especially this early on where you don't have access to Virus or Quake yet.
Not unless you feel like taking some random encounters and bringing Palom up there, which would definitely take a bit more time than I think either runner is willing to invest.
That would be ultimately that would be a time loss. So I wouldn't expect either player to go that route. And we find the Alaskan Nope Noodle on a back attack. This is not going to be pretty.
Did bigdunka find Cure 2 potions anywhere?
I believe he did, but if he plays it smart, he shouldn't need too many. But we'll see. We'll see what he does.
Yeah. Ooh, bigdunka I think is going to trigger a counterattack here with that dancing dagger.
Yeah,
it deals any
magical damage. Here comes the blaze,
which is going to go and just eat through more of Sid's health, which is a little troublesome as you don't have any real good healing efficiency here, as you just have those Cure 2 potions, which is one at a time, so you have to lose your melee turns to go and keep your melee damage dealers alive. That's definitely taking a bit of time from bigdunka.
And the more time you spend healing yourself, the more time Ogopogo has to charge up those waves.
Yep, he has a script of he opens with a double big wave, does 3 punches, does a single big wave, does 2 punches, does a double big wave, and then cycles, and that starts to cycle all over again. And we see Invenerable getting through Valvalis, getting some good experience, and is going to be going into this Ogopogo fight. I hope he goes and heals up, or else he's going to go and have a dead party after that. And he is.
Speaking of dead, Ogopogo going down for bigdunka. Both these runners are basically in the same spot, but Invenerable has done a lot more. bigdunka is picking up Virus though for Palom, so that'll ease things up here very quickly.
Yeah, bigdunka got some extra experience on Palom with the including him in the Antlion check, but because it was Dark Elf there, it's half experience or so not a big change. So I think we'll be seeing Invenerable getting a Virus on Palom as well, which will be very helpful for him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the interesting thing here is going to be where what route these players go to after this, because I think all we have left at this point is to go underground via the hook.
We do have Baron in, and we just got the Baron Castle key, so we can go and clear that. And clearing Baron Castle is an objective. It is also a character check, so I can see our run as being very incentivized to go and take a detour to the Baron Castle rather than trying to go and charge that hook path.
Yeah, I missed the Baron key, so yeah, no, definitely. I at this point in time, I would definitely expect Baron to be the play.
Especially since even though Vavelis was blocking this route, it could still lead to the Magma Key because Vavelis cannot block the only path underground. And for what we've seen, the hook is a logic path underground, as it's just Octomam and Dark Imp who have been blocking it so far. And bigdunka taking no time to clear out that Dr. Luge, who is in the Crystal Chamber on Ordeals, going and getting Tella all of his spells, and now just charging down the mountain to go to wherever he feels next, which I expect is either going to be Baron or get that hook character.
Yeah, bigdunka not wasting any time looting the chests on Mount Ordeals. This early on, I feel that's a mistake, but that's me. Early on, you could pick up some pretty good items, or at least some healing.
bigdunka is sitting on 90,000 gold, so he maybe is thinking, I've got enough. I found enough stuff. I don't want to clutter up my inventory too much. I would rather just go, keep moving. He does have a Gungnir for Kane, which is a good weapon. He's got some decent equipment. I can understand him going and just leaving it because each chest you open takes time, and that's time you just don't want to spend on anything but clearing spots if you can avoid it. And going straight into the Baron end. I don't know if he even saved outside of outside of Baron. He must have.
I didn't see it. I hope he did, but I didn't see it. And we've got a vanilla Karate Man.
Well, it would be really nice to have that Cecil, but we know that if we had that Cecil, or if Cecil's around, he's going to be somewhere annoying, or he'll be in Baron Castle.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But pulling out good damage, and Yang is definitely being nice and slow, so our characters are not taking too much damage. So I think we're going to get through that. Yep, Yang goes down, and we're going to go and get our White Mage and Twin to our good Black Mage.
And we have a spoon, so, I mean, it's a key item. I mean, unfortunately, the spoon flag isn't on in this flag set, so Edward remains useless past about 30 minutes for the most part, minus some very niche circumstances. But yeah, it's a key item. It'll sell. If we run across an early edge, it's an easy quad 9 on Z.
Yeah, or it can be used to go and buy edge to go and clear some annoying bosses like CPU, who's in a high HP spot. I can definitely see just wanting to go and chunk through that main body as fast as possible, but now we'll see. Yep, bigdunka is going back into Baron, is going to be going into Baron Castle to complete one of his objectives, I think.
So yeah, he should be done with this here in, I would say, 5 minutes or so. I would expect Invenerable, considering he's checking the shop. Jeez, my brain turned off for a second. Not be too far behind. So guaranteed by 30 minutes we'll have at least one objective done, maybe 2 if that's where Cecil happens to find. Maybe even 3 if we find a rat tail or a magma key.
We could go for 4 if we go and find the rat tail and turn that into the magma key. That would definitely be, or it's going to be just 3, 4 objectives. We could liberate Baron, get Cecil, trade away the rat tail to get the magma key, drop that down, and then it's a race to find the tower key.
What would be really spectacular is if we liberate Baron Castle for the rat tail, for the tower key, and when you turn in the tower key, there's your magma key. That would be absolutely jet.
That would be very quick, assuming we don't have anything incredibly rude at the King Queen Evelyn spot. Though we have seen Ebol, which is one of the worst ones. Baigen is still in play, and Baigen is incredibly ugly.
And there's always CPU. I'm sorry. CPU and Golbez are, as far as I'm concerned, two of the most evil bosses in this game.
The King Queen Evelyn spot is at least not too bad, because it's only 6,000 HP, and we can go and probably get Quake on Palom, so I wouldn't be surprised to see runners just throw some damage at the CPU, cast Quake, and then try and go and kill it off before it can go and finish sending globes at your team.
And that's where Tella with the Meteo and the Soma drop is going to be helpful, because it might take a minute or two, but even with low levels and bad equipment, that's an easy 3,000 to 4,000 damage. And we have an alt Gauntlet here at the King, so we're going to be here a while.
The fish have overrun the throne. The sewers have come back up to haunt the Baron today. So we'll see how well our runners can deal with this, as taking care of the first encounter pretty well, but throwing out Twin to get some damage. Palom's not really going to, or Porm, excuse me, is not going to go and be able to do too much damage, but Palom he has Virus that will definitely go and do a lot of work for this team.
Yeah, and with the incremental experience that you get, he could get Quake before the end.
Very true. You can go and just pick up some decent amount of experience here, though I don't think the poor kid using the Dancing Dagger didn't quite do as much damage as I think his bigdunka was hoping.
Yeah, he would have been better off using that in its more intended form as an item to basically to chuck it without actually chucking it.
Yep, but there comes that double Virus taking out 2 enemies, so that's definitely going and helping speed things up. Palom is definitely one of the characters you enjoy seeing.
Oh, wave. Oh, thankfully it missed Porom, so she'll be alive, be able to grab as much experience as possible.
Right, and the wave by the Aquaworm is based on the Aquaworm, is 4% of the Aquaworm's HP with a little bit of adjustment. So that Aquaworm didn't seem terribly sturdy and didn't manage to do too much damage, only doing about 60 damage to these characters.
Yeah, so it wasn't as dangerous as originally anticipated, but it's still not going to be fun to deal with, especially because of the long animation time.
Very true. And we see that we're on the 5th fight, I believe. So we're getting close to the end on bigdunka, and Invenerable is just starting now, so we'll see how quickly this goes for Invenerable. Then we'll get to see what we get from this Baron pot. We'll have finished objective number 2, Liberate Baron, and we'll see where we go from here.
Oh, there's Edge! So hopefully no one sold their Masa Moon, and the spoon is now a viable piece of equipment.
That Edge is definitely going to be very welcome. He's level 25, which late in the seed is not going to go and be high level, but now he's definitely over leveled for the current party, and he comes with a nice set of gear, which is something I believe both runners have been struggling with, as we haven't found many good strength enhancing pieces of equipment which Edge comes with.
Yeah, Edge comes loaded for Bear, especially since I've seen in the inventories Full Moon, so they can just drop him in the back row, let him do full damage from there while staying safe.
Yeah, and Edge is going to go and be a very helpful addition to this team, I think. Though Dark Paladin in chat's fearing that... Ooh, excuse me for a moment. We have found Twin Harp. Yep, more
music. Music is officially on the table, folks.
But to finish a thought I had in chat, it's you can go and... Or there's a question of maybe Invenerable will drop Kane here, but if you have Sid and you have Tella, I think you're more likely to go and drop Sid to go and take an Edge for the extra melee damage, and let Tella be your anchor.
That's definitely a viable strategy. I know Invenerable. I'm less sure about Dunka, but me personally, I would drop the Tella.
I have to strongly disagree. Tella is really good for everything except his stats. He's got Berserk, he's got Cure 4, he's got Blink, he's got level 3 spells when you don't have them. Those are all things that are pretty nice.
He definitely has his kit. He definitely has his place. And I just feel that his place is in the early game. Once he hit underground, once he hit the moon, he more often than not he's tanking the floor.
Yeah, but if he's taking the floor, he's going in. Oh, and Big Dunk is getting not quite hitting the correct chocobo, which is highly unfortunate for him. And there he gets his black chocobo, and he was going to be giving us music. So let's see if we can get the sound switched over to Big Dunka as we are going to be eagerly awaiting that music. And I don't think Invenerable's at. I didn't see who Invenerable dropped, so let's.
Yeah, I missed it as well. But either way, I would assume at this point in time we're going to get a double dose of music. Looks like Invenerable drops Sid, which honestly from Invenerable I kind of expected. He has a larger fondness for the old man than I do.
And he likes to go and D-Machine grind, which Tele really enables. Sid does not.
This is true.
Big Dunka going straight into there and is going to be getting ready to see what's at Twin Harp. Immediately full parish on the party. You love to see it. Don't want to go and waste any time. And speaking of wasting any time, we're about to get music, so I will go and be quiet so we can go and appreciate whatever the dulcet tones are. And we are getting Kakariko Village music from Legend of Zelda. A very nice, calming tune. Which is ironic, as we're going to be very uncalm as Invenerable is finding the antline at the Odin spot. This is rather bold for the levels he's at, but Invenerable decides, I can do this.
Well, when you chuck that spoon at him, that's a big hunk of damage. And then you just kind of, the only real fighter you have in Invenerable's group is going to be Edge, and he can just start chucking stuff, or he or Edge can tank the floor. Meanwhile, Dunka is fighting off against Pale Dim, so all those fighters he's got are really going to pay off.
Yep, though he's going to go and get those annoying slow counters whenever he goes and attacks, which, while expected, it's still a bit of a slowdown here.
But in a spot that's got such high magic resist as Dark Elf spot, it's definitely not something that's painful at all.
Very true. And Paladin is down. We'll see what we get, what's hidden behind this Twin Harp, and if we're going to get value from music today.
Well, the most important thing that we got from there is going to be Quack and Berserk. So no matter what, this was definitely worth for Big Dunka.
Very true. And we're getting
Cookware.
That's, with the number of key item checks you want to do this seed, I can definitely see that being highly worthwhile. It would greatly surprise me if this does not go and provide value. But now that Big Dunk has finished the Twin Harp and Invenerable is still fighting through this antline, he's getting through it. He's making progress. The blinks he's throwing up are definitely saving his team, and he's getting damage out steadily. But it is taking him a good bit of time.
But this is a spot he's not going to have to come back and deal with later, which is going to be very nice.
I agree. That's something I think he'd be looking forward to, as never having to come back is a big advantage. And Big Dunka is grabbing his hook, is grabbing his hovercraft, and is going to be heading down that hook path. I don't think he's going to be running away from the octopus he sees here, but maybe he'll go and, well, he doesn't really have anything else to do. This is the only option he has left, unless he wants to hunt for Miss Dragon at Mega Sisters, which I think is not entirely the desirable play.
No, that would be such an amazing gamble. That's like throwing $3,000 on boxcars.
Yeah, that's a play that you only do when you are really forced to. You have to do it because you have no other way underground, to be honest.
Or to the moon, or if you're looking for the moon and you've done everything else.
That too, because that's also incredibly rude. Invenerable having a bit of trouble here, going and getting into a bit of a little bit of ugly time here. Edge is just keeps getting knocked down, not doing damage. Kane is slowly jumping. He might be close to the end of this fight, but he does not have. He is really slowing down on damage.
Yeah, he spent the early part of it, which was important, chucking those big hefty weapons. But now that all that is gone, he's really slowed down.
Yeah, he is bluffing on Palom, which might go and get him a bit more time back as he can go and heal himself up, go and get MP, and have, even though Palom has the cursed ring on to be an anchor, he can go and just keep bluffing until Palom's magic goes up to a respectable level and then unleash the strong virus that way.
Well, yeah, he hasn't picked up Quick yet, but this should get him Quack. But definitely ripping off a huge virus will be very, very helpful in completing this fight.
And queuing up a Meteo on Tella, so we'll see if that goes and brings us to a close. The Zerking Edge just throwing whatever he can out here, it seems.
Meteo not required.
Well, there's the Quake for the kid. And meanwhile, we see bigdunka is going and getting the Mad Ogre's chest, which is in the first chest of Upper Babel. Just getting a crystal ring and resetting out of it, not even keeping the experience.
Yeah, and Venerable is going to be kicking himself for that one. I mean, he knows the slot's dead, but he's got to feel not happy about wasting that much time.
I agree. I think Invenerable might go and be regretting some choices. I think he overestimated how much damage Palom was going to be doing, and really just seemed to go and run out of steam in that fight. So he probably is a bit upset and frustrated. He's going and doing safety checks to make sure he's not missing a Mist Dragon, and we'll see where he goes from here. Going to Kaipo to make a check. He might be going and looking for Cecil to see if he can get confirmation of where Cecil is and what item he would be looking out for. But maybe he's also going and checking for some other shops. He's finding a duplicate twin, so Cecil is going to be in a unique location wherever he is. There will only be one Cecil in this siege. Hawklaw, as you're pointing out in chat, that getting the spoon and light sword back is probably very important for Invenerable. When Invenerable is charging down the hook path now, which might end up biting him if that pan has either the tower key, the rat tail, or the magma key. As bigdunka has that, and I don't know if Invenerable will be going to check for that twin harp anytime soon. And Invenerable is going and selling more, and we find on bigdunka's stream a Mylon. It is going to be Mylon Z at the King Queen Evelyn spot. Not the worst spot to find them, I think.
Honestly, Mylon Z isn't bad here. I'd honestly prefer to find a different boss. Mylon Z can be very easy to deal with later on down the line with his fire weakness. And he's just going to hit real hard. So, I mean, it's manageable. It could be worse.
Yeah, but he does take a wipe. bigdunka does take a wipe here, so that does give Invenerable a bit of time to make up for spending all that time in Antlion that didn't pay out. But yeah, there's that curse ring going out. That's going to go and help change the speed differential and give a bit more time to throw their own punches at Mylon.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have put it on Porum, but that's me personally. It's not something I necessarily agree with, but definitely a viable strategy. He's going to be looking to pump out the damage faster than it needs to be healed up.
Agreed, because It's only 6,000 HP. You just want to go and blitz through the spot as much as you can, throw as much damage as you can. Fire 2 coming out from Palom is going to do extra damage. I can see this working out to his advantage and just trying to get a little bit of extra damage out quickly, which Palom at this point isn't really going to do. Or excuse me, Forum at this point. Palom is the one who does all the damage.
Yeah, for a good long while, Palom's going to be the main source of damage behind everything. Especially with Quack, especially with Virus, especially with these elemental, these bosses weak to elements. Palom's going to be the hero of the seed for a while.
Oh yeah, and we see the Berserk coming out, so that's going to go and get Edge. This should go and let bigdunka just chew through this Mylon Z, as I'm pretty sure he does not have much left in him. Forum goes down, but I think Edge one or two more swings, and this is going to be the end of Mylon Z. There he goes.
Dunka gets out of Mylon Z just as Invenerable enters it. So Invenerable is not really that far behind at this point. It's just that music check that's going to hold him back and potentially, bite him in the rear later on.
Yeah, if anything that's required is behind that pan, bigdunka is probably going to get a big time lead, especially if Invenerable chooses to go Moon before going and doing Twin Harp. That could definitely go and put a big swing on this match. But speaking of putting a big swing on this match, let's go and give a big hand to our restreamer, Simbudu, who is going in taking care of restream, and our tracker, Bahamut X, for going in helping us out. Thank you both very much for helping us put on this show. And thank you, Quester Workin, for being my co-commentator.
Well, thank you very much, Baka. Thank you for dealing with my shenanigans.
And both runners getting into the Octomammoth fight at the same time. This is something that's going to be Invenerable choosing not to go and save at all, just going straight into the fight while bigdunka decides to safety save. So that will go and change the fight. bigdunka committing to using the spoon here. I don't think Invenerable's gone and chosen to do that.
No, early on with the Octomammoth, it's not about how much damage you can do. It's about how many hits you can do, how fast. Because that's going to be the main thing to slow him down and make him tolerable.
And speaking of getting slowed down, Tella is just taking the hits for this fight on Invenerable's side. The old man wants to live, it seems, but the Octomam remembers who the dangerous one in the vanilla fight apparently was. Also, unless I'm mistaken, I believe Invenerable skipped the Mad Ogre chest as well, which put him behind, and I don't remember what the Mad Ogre chest had, but it's...
I didn't see it, but realistically, with its flag set, most likely it was just a pile of experience.
True, but Invenerable is definitely behind on that experience at the moment, because his Palom does not have Quake, I believe.
No, his Palom has... No, wait, maybe he doesn't, because he got Quake in the Antline fight at Odin spot, and then he reset out of it. Thankfully for these last two fights, Quake wasn't going to be a huge factor anyway, with the lightning and the fire weakness. But after this fight, he should pick up Quack.
Yeah, and Palom is wearing the curse ring, so he's not really going to be doing a lot of damage, and Octomam is pretty slowed down at this point, so I think Invenerable is content to just sit and wait for his melee attackers to take care of him, but in the meantime, bigdunka is done. He has gotten through this Octomam and is going to be the first runner underground at 42 minutes and 10 seconds.
And the Octomammoth does go down for Invenerable. He's just going to do a little bit of inventory management during the shake, and everything should be good to go. And he's really not that far behind, maybe about 30 seconds.
Agreed. This is just going to be a matter of how much value does the pan give, and that's going to go and be a big deciding factor. bigdunka not going and checking the boss on top of Lower Babel, which is a little bit of information. If you just walk a few steps to the side, you can go and see who's sending the Octomam up the teleporter. Oh, and Dark Paladin in chat pointing out that he believes that Ad Ogre chest has an offense sword. That is actually a pretty significant thing to find.
Invenerable, though, does peak at the lower Babel boss, and it is going to be the other flavor of Mylon.
With that Quake, it's definitely not a terrible thing to go and take out there, but you might want to wait for that tower key that you're supposed to get. And Big Dunk is choosing to go straight down to Feymarch to go and turn in his free check the free chest, I believe. Not going to the pan right away.
Honestly, it makes sense to me doing it this way. I mean, you could do it the other way, and that's perfectly acceptable too. Both ways have their merit. But considering that Dunka already has the pan, he doesn't need to look for it. I might have done it the other way in his shoes.
Yeah, I think turning in the pan would definitely go and be helpful, as you know you're going to get an Avenger in that chest. That is definitely very nice to see. I think Kane will be rocking that for a while. But with the pan, I think you want to go down there. You're going to take damage no matter when you go down to the Sylph. So if you go and take all the damage when you're turning in the pan, you can then come take even more damage going down the path to Feymarch. And if you need to heal and rest up, you only have to do it once rather than twice after going through both caves.
We've got Biogan at Leviathan spot and a Vanilla Ashura. Dunka's just going to nope right out. Biogan would just do metric piles of damage, and yeah, I don't blame him on that one. Get the heck out.
Yeah, Biogan is definitely a spot you're not particularly keen on doing, because the Leviathan spot has incredibly high attack for a spot that only casts magic spells, so I don't think we'll be seeing either runner go there for some time. Meanwhile, Invenerable is choosing to go into Dwarf Castle. He's going in the back way to use the healing pot. Maybe he's deciding he did do one egg, so he did go and get some experience. He may be choosing to go and just take this out and finding Bacchus wines for sale in Dwarf Castle. Meanwhile, we see that Big Duncan decided to validate his seed by seeing what job the temp job dwarf had today. It was a contract specialist.
I'm trying to figure out if that's a flavor of lawyer or not.
Oh, most certainly.
That's what I thought.
Running contracts is definitely something you go and get to do all the time, because everyone in business wants a contract. But we've seen now that Big Dunk is going to turn in his pan, so he may be just simply getting his freebies out of the way, going to go back up to the overworld, turn them in, and see if he gets something that he needs to do.
True. Meanwhile, Venerable fighting Leviathan at the Calabrana spot. Definitely not something I would be sad to see there. Definitely, a good a boss that can definitely hurt if not done appropriately in a spot that's going to go down fairly easily and not with a whole lot of damage behind it.
This Calabrana spot actually has surprisingly high magic, so those ice chews might hurt a fair bit. But we'll see how this goes for him. The ice juice coming out is going to go and do 800 damage to Palom. That is definitely a bit spicy for damage. Meanwhile, Big Dunka is choosing to just not even bother fighting anything, going back up to the overworld, and is going to turn in this pan. And Invenerable is through the Leviathan fight, not getting experience on Palom, but is getting through the fight with a pretty healthy party, so that could turn out to be very helpful for whatever this second fight is. And it is Odin. So that will be and it's Vasuya. This is a hard choice. Oh, no, not so hard choice. Goodbye, Porum.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'd do is bye-bye. Give me my old man.
Yeah, Porum suffers in the HP growth department. Vasuya coming with nuke. This poor Odin does not even know what came over him. And in all my
thermonuclear weaponry came over him is what happened.
Oh, and apparently the pan did not give anything. It gave Sand Ruby, which we know is a duplicate twin. So that skipping the music is actually going to not punish Invenerable the Seed, which is very fortunate for him. And now we get to see what Dwarf Castle gives. We still need to find Cecil. Cecil could, we could need to go and find another key item in the form of the, well, we need to find another key item in the form of a character check to get Cecil, as, while Darkness could be our way to Zeromus, we could still need to go and find the Earth Crystal, the package.
No, Vanilla Luca key. No. We don't want to do that.
Well, we have Warp on Fasoya and Tella, and maybe even Palom at this point, so maybe Invenerable's like, yes, give me this Luca key. I will check this child's memento to see if this is anything worthwhile.
I'm sure it's not his first choice on what he wanted to see there. Is he going to do it? Yeah, because he doesn't have much, anything else in the way of a better play, but it still doesn't feel good.
He still has not gone and checked the free chest in Feymarch, which would give him an Avenger, which would be a nice boost to his DPS, but with Fasoya, I think he's not going to be terribly concerned with boosting his DPS at the moment. And down he goes.
Not really. The question is does Invenerable remember where those Soma drops are so we can pull quad nukes with Fu?
Very good point, because Soma drops are for sale in the 4.0 version. It's the recently released version, which added these lovely objectives that are what's dictating where the crystal is today. So we'll see if he comes back for those. And chat going in, wishing for the ever pleasant fate of everything's gonna be on the moon behind darkness at Bagging at Leviathan. I like where you're going, chat. Let's go and see some suffering. Dark Paladin correcting me that yes, you could go and buy Soma drops on the T Wild flags, but in the shop rebalance, they are now on T Standard, which is a flag that gets used a lot more for these tournaments, as we don't like to be that generous with shops and tournaments. But just a crystal ring from the Luca key itself. Invenerable, remembering to go and check to see if it's a D-Mist here to be that bit of a troll, but otherwise this is a complete bust.
Yeah, well, and we found Bahamut, so I mean that's a boss that's you don't have to deal with later on down the line. Bahamut's actually one of those that I don't like seeing in a spot like that, because Bahamut's mostly just going to kill himself, well, as long as you got a couple of Starveils floating around.
Yep, that's very true, especially in that spot. That spot does not have a lot of HP, it doesn't have extraordinary attack, but it has extraordinary magic power. And we're just going away from that. Invenerable now going down to Feymarch to see what's down here. Going to find his Avenger, and he's going to find Queen Ashura and Baigan. We'll see if he decides to fight either of them. With Fasoya in his party, I can see him going and deciding that, yes, I'll take care of some of these fights because I have Fasoya. What do I care about? And meanwhile, we see that bigdunka is going through the Dwarf Castle and is going to be getting his Fasoya as soon as he gets out through this Leviathan. We'll see who he decides to go and get rid of in his party. And, yep, just going straight back down, we'll see what Invenerable thinks of this set of bosses down here, because Vanilla Ashura is probably not the scariest thing, and I can see him going and deciding to fight Vanilla Ashura, but then the question is, do you deal with Baigan? Oh, and bigdunka choosing to get rid of Palom. That is a surprise.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm guessing he's choosing to prioritize another Berserk caster over having those spells from Palom, which, when I say it out loud, he does have Sid, Edge, and Kane. That means he really needs to go and have lots of ways to cast Berserk, and I don't know if he's found the Bacchus ones that were selling Dwarf Castle.
I don't think he has either, and he honestly, he might kick himself once he does. But if I remember correctly, the rescue flag is on, so he can always correct what may end up being a mistake.
Correct. He can go and pick up any characters. That is something that's helpful. Meanwhile, Invenerable is choosing to do Keyless Tower right now. That is... Well, his choices are Twin Harp, the single check for Yang, or Keyless Tower without those discounting those Feymarch bosses. So I don't hate this play, as he does have Fusoya, he has Nuke, he has Quake on his Palom, so this might not be the worst check for him.
Honestly, I think it's the best of the three. It's close by. He can do the single. He can set up Sheila 1 directly after this. I think this is the best course of action. I agree.
Yeah, the question is, if this turns up to be nothing, or this could still turn out to be darkness or lead to darkness, which would be interesting, and as I imagine, Invenerable would be more than happy to ignore everything else on Earth and go straight to the moon instead. But we're going to see some interesting changes, as bigdunka is going to be coming to a similar conclusion very soon. And our restreamer wishing for the meanest scenario. Darkness Crystal isn't here. It isn't behind Ashura. It isn't behind any Earth chain on Earth. It's behind Demist at Mega Sisters. I like your style.
I mean, there's Evil, and then there's Demist at Mega Sisters for Earth Crystal Evil.
You spell funny in a very different way than I do.
I said evil, not funny.
Yeah, I know. I'm just telling you the difference because I find that hilarious. That would be magnificent. That would be a fantastic troll for our runners.
Well, they're both of the caliber they can handle it and still very easily sub to the seed. So it's not something I would put past, especially with Simbu rolling the seed. It's not something I would put past him.
That's true, but there's always the mind games of, oh dear, this has been free for so long. Did my opponent check this? Because that is something that weighs on you a bit when you know that that's been available. bigdunka resetting out of Luca Cave and not checking the boss, which he's not going to be punished for, but he's not going to go and get the visibility on where Bahamut is. Oh,
more
my
important.
goodness. Sorry.
No, I was going to say he's also not going to get the knowledge that Demist isn't there, so that might weigh on him a little later on down the line. But looks like we've got a vanilla tower key hiding at the top. So, hey, this ended up being the correct play after all.
That's giving us an objective. That's going to go and lead us into... Well, it might be our way to the moon. It might just simply go and be one objective, but it's definitely required. So I think both are okay. I was going to say, I think both of our owners will be happy about this. No, I don't think this is so much happy as there's, why do I have to deal with Golbez here? Fun fact, if you're seeing some, if you have Franker Face C and you're seeing some interesting variants on the Golbez sprite, you have Invenerable to thank for that. He's the one who did one of the variations of that Golbez sprite in chat. So the real question is, who gets to survive this fight? It's not much experience on the grand scheme of things, but you don't really want your physical attackers to survive. Kane goes down, so it's going to be one of Kane and Fusoya, so I don't think there's going to be much going on here. And Invenerable just queuing up a firebomb to go and take care of this. Not even one to use a spell on Golbez.
Why Golbez? Because you're a jerk face, that's why.
He really doesn't know how to pick on people his own size. But now we get to go and see what's our prize for finishing this Tower of Zot, which was a self-contained 2-for-1. Meanwhile, bigdunka is getting his way through this Mile-End fight and is going to be rewarded the Tower Key and will be just behind Invenerable. bigdunka definitely going in really not having good luck with that pan, giving pretty much nothing. So we're going to see what Invenerable goes to from here, as he still has that Twin Harp, which will lead to the pan, which will lead to a Sand Ruby and not much else. And then it's down to Feymarch bosses if this tower key does not give us other progression.
So, Baka, serious question. Are you hoping that progression lies behind Feymarch bosses?
I'm hoping for progression lies behind Demist at Mega Sisters.
What are we going to do with you, man? What are we going to do with you?
I hear quarantine is all the rage, but it's a bit exclusionary to me.
Oh, pass it. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's horrible.
Well, we have a way to Zeromus that might not require the Darkness Crystal, so if we find a Magma Key in a Rat Tail, or a Rat Tail into a Magma Key, we're in go mode. No, excuse me, we still need to find Cecil. So if we find an Earth Crystal that gives a Cecil into a Rat Tail into a Magma Key, then we're in go mode. But that might be a bit of a tall order. But
that's going to be a bit of a stretch.
Invenerable doing the single Yang check, going to go back up, talk to Sheila, and then I think he's going to take his mostly dead party and go to Twin Harp, because if there's ever a time to go to Twin Harp, it's when your party's mostly dead and you want that free full heal.
Yeah, that seems like the general play at this point. Bigdunka not using the size setup that Invenerable used, so the cutscene on Golbez is going to be just a little bit long.
Yeah, and more importantly, he's not going to be abusing that status priority, which Inven did, which is why he decided to turn all of his party members into Lilliputians. If your party has certain statuses, they can't get other certain statuses. This is most noticeable when you're going and dealing with, say, the Luge fight. After he gets to phase 2, he poisons your entire party, and if you ever wonder why your berserks fail, it's because they're poisoned. You can't go and get certain statuses if you have others that are higher up in the priority, which that's kind of annoying in some situations, but very beneficial in others, as Invenerable showed, he was able to just simply go, wait for the Shadow Dragon to go away, and throw a Firebomb with Visoya to just instantly decimate Golbez.
Yep. And so all mechanics in basically any game are abusable if you know how to abuse them.
Yep. And to answer a question from chat, what is Go Mode? Go Mode is finding the crystal, finding the path to Zeromus, and then going and killing Zeromus. In this case, the crystal is locked behind the 5 objectives we have on screen, which is to destroy the super cannon, which Invenerable has completed and bigdunka is just finishing now, liberate Baron Castle, which both our owners have done, drop the Magma Key into the aggregate well, which is going to be extra funny because they've already had to go through the hook path, trade away the Rat Tail, which will involve just simply finding it, and then getting Cecil. Cecil can be in any of the remaining character spots, which is the Earth Crystal, the Package, the Moon Tias, or the Giant of Babel. But once we have completed all 5 of those objectives, the game will go and give us a crystal, and with the pass that we are getting from this tower key, we can go straight to Zeromus without any issues. Well, that we can kill him is an entirely different question. But there is Invenerable going to the Twin Harp, going to find the hook, going to lose some time to go in, probably walking back down to turn in that pan to get nothing but the Sand Ruby. He is probably appreciative of the Defense Sword, but I think Kane is going to be rocking that Avenger for quite some time. He may say some time right now because he's higher level than Bigdunka was, but Bigdunka has finished all the checks and is now going to be going down to Feymarch, which is, that's the only place left for Bigdunka unless I'm terribly mistaken, so he knows he has to take care of both either the Sashura or the Spygan, maybe both. Or we can still have the long shot hope of Demist at Mega Sisters.
Yeah, this is where Duncan's going to make up a whole lot of time catching up to where Invenerable was, because Invenerable's now just doing everything that Duncan's already done.
Very much so. That's definitely going to go and cost Invenerable some time. That's going to go and give Dunka a good chance. And putting a curse ring on that Sid, who has the Rune Axe, which we'll see how that goes. And if he decides to move that Rune Axe to a different character, as that will do quadruple damage against Ashura, as Ashura is a mage-type enemy, and the Rune Axe does quadruple damage against mage-type enemies. And we see Invenerable. We are getting a reprise of that Kaipo music, the Kakariko music. So we'll have some fun with that. We see Nuke coming out for Invenerable, and we're going to the Ashura fight on Big Dunka's screen. Let's see what we're going to have as our plan here, as this is going to be a little bit of a tricky fight, I think. Granted, I guess you could go and simply do my favorite vanilla strategy, which is throw a whole bunch of blinks, get your team just unable to be hit, and then just wait slowly as you take a hit, put a blink, take a hit, put a blink. Be very, very safe.
Although it looks like he's going for a slightly more, slightly riskier strat, just walling up Ashura and hoping that Ashura heals him for any damage that she does.
He did put a wall on Sid, so it looks like he is going to be bouncing some nukes, which will, one, bypass the wall on Ashura, and two, bypass any counterattacks as well, because reflected attacks don't trigger counters. Very helpful thing to go and have. And Invenerable is finding that pan, is going to be going down and turning that in. He's going to be going and having another walk, and we'll discover that he is only going to be getting a Sandra Bee out of this. When Edge goes down, that big downside to Porum is that Porum does not go and get the higher level cure spells for quite some time. I think she needs to get to level 39 in order to go and get cure 3, and then needs to get to 48 to get cure 4, which is definitely not the levels you want to see on your own white mage.
Yeah, and it takes her even longer than that to break the 2K threshold for the safety on the Big Bang. So that's why there's usually not much love given to the white mage child.
Very true. And this is fun. Artemis arrows from Ashura, so there are two options left. Baigen, who is going to hit hard and fast because he has two arms that have their own brains, or a Demus hiding in Mega Sisters. This is... Let's see how well this goes for Big Dunka. And
not well is the answer.
Yep, that's about how well I expected Baigen at Leviathan to go. Fortunately, there are sirens in the seed, so you can just grind up a bunch of levels outside, but that's not really what you want in. There's a reset. Big Dunka not really pleased with this, and Invenerable probably also not pleased with that Sand Ruby, but walking it out, I'm guessing because he wants to have the extra key item, and maybe he wants to go and turn it in for another caster, but Big Dunka is leaving. Big Dunka is saying, no, I don't want this. Let's go somewhere else. I believe he might be going back to the Elven Shop to get sirens. He's going to do some grinding, and is going to come back to this fight. While
Dunka's gonna go hit up the Odin spot because he never did that.
Right, I forgot. Invenerable did that, which we also know does not give progression. So that is someplace that Invenerable has a bit of time, and it looks like another place that Invenerable has time is he's going to do some more grinding and take some more levels before he goes into those Feymarch bosses. Sadly, Invenerable is only at 8 key items. If he was at 10, he would start getting double experience, but he's going to go and just have to take what he can currently get.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the smart play, is take what you can get and don't be greedy about it. He knows he's down to just, bad option after bad option after worse option.
Yeah, these are two pretty much moon level bosses on the Earth because they didn't want to go and give you good summons for free. They really wanted to make you work for them. Though, speaking of working for it, I think bigdunka's be working a little less hard than Invenerable did for this antlion kill, as he's discovered the microwave technology available by the moon. Quake and Egg sounds like a bit of a rocky breakfast.
Breakfast of champions?
Champions of dental work, I'm guessing.
Most of them do.
But here's Invenerable getting ready to go and do his Fame Arch dive, while bigdunka is going and taking out this antlion. Fusoya is certainly tanking it, and he is going to just he's going to go and show off why Fusoya is an incredibly powerful character that you go out of your way to find as soon as possible. But bigdunka is through. He is going to be getting his crystal ring, and we'll see if he keeps it. He does not. I believe he might have thrown a spoon as well. So now bigdunka knows I need to kill those summon monster bosses. More to specifically, I need to kill Vigen or find a Demist. And bigdunka is choosing to go to the Earth. bigdunka is choosing to go and play Is There a Demist? If it's there, I approve. Meanwhile, Invenerable is making the sensible option of choosing to not fight Vigen, because Vigen is going to rip your arms off with his extra arms. So here comes all sorts of magic. We see more reflected nukes and viruses coming out. Tella not really going and pulling it off, but Reflected Ice 3? I think we're going to see some pure reflect strats outside of the Z fight, as I don't see that Edge or Kane attacking at all. But, yeah, this is definitely a gamble. There are 34 boss location spots in the seed. Demist is guaranteed to be in the seed and can be in any of them. This is 1 in 34. Well, okay, more than 1 in 34. Oh my goodness gracious. Bigdunka has gone and just completely... This could be the Darkness Crystal. This could be a Rat Tail. This could be the Magma Key, which would be hilarious. But no matter what, this is amazing. Chat, whatever praise you have, give it to bigdunka for going and finding this incredible discovery. There goes Demist. You can either walk out, or you can go and cast Warp in Tower of Zot. You can't exit, but Warp still works. I want to see what Demist gives. And bigdunka is choosing to walk out because... oh my goodness gracious. 1 in 34 going to bigdunka's favor, as Invenerable is going to go and get Artemis arrows when he finishes his Ashura fight. And then we're going to go and see if he goes and takes out Vigen. Vigen can still have one of the important key items and be a roadblock, but bigdunka wins in our hearts, if nothing else, I think. And this is still completely hilarious. You can still go... If this is the Magma Key, it is going to be weighing on both runners' minds. It is going to be hilariously annoying for bigdunka because it wasn't a terribly hard spot, but it was still not as fast as going up here and finding this Mist Dragon. But what is this item on Mist Dragon? What are we getting from here today? Just the Legend Sword, and a good point from chat. You could have gone and checked the character there to see if it was Cecil. So, the lead swings back to Invenerable as Invenerable is ready to go and fight that Baigan. He has gotten through Ashura, he has got those Artemis arrows, and now it's a race for both the runners to go through this Baigan, who is more than willing to go and rip everyone's arms off, while Bigdunka is choosing to grind. I don't go and blame him, because, again, Baigan likes to go and rip your arms off. He hurts. But we see Quakes coming out. We see our characters getting ready. I think we're going to see some Bacchus Wines come out to just try and clog that queue, get your Zerkers going, and blitz out as much damage as fast as you possibly can. And to answer a question from chat, I believe maximum key items we can have is 9, as I counted 8 up on Invenerable previously. So Baigan is guaranteed to have a path to the moon. He, at best, can have the Earth Crystal into darkness, or he can just straight have darkness. Or he could have the Rat Tail that requires, so there are 3 options. Rat Tail, Earth Crystal, or darkness. Rat Tail would probably be preferable, as you need to go and get that to as one of your objectives, but no matter what, we're going to have to go to the moon, and we're going to have to go and find one of our objectives up there. Or at the very least, the magma key is gated by the moon, because it's not on Demas. Any checks that are left on Earth are single into one another, and they have to end in the darkness crystal. So the moon is going to be in play. The moon is not haunted, and we still have a Cecil to find. We are far from done. An hour 15 into the seed, and our runners have not escaped the Earth. This is a seed. Thank you for this treat, Simbu, our restreamer. And we are going, and Bigdunka is taking a bunch of levels. He is passing Invenerable in levels at this point. And to answer a question from chat, can Cecil be behind Giant? Yes, he can. He can absolutely be behind Giant. He can be anywhere in this seed. If Bigdunka had gone and checked, we would have had confirmation if he was in the first character slot at Zot, but otherwise, we have no idea where he is. He's not in the bed, he's not in Baron, he's not in the hook path, he was nowhere in the overworld. And there is our Darkness Crystal. Baigan is down on Invenerable's side, so this is going to be Invenerable's at 9 key items. Bigdunka, when he kills his Baigan, will be at 10 key items, but Bigdunka has done some more grinding, so that will go and give him a bit of an advantage. And Invenerable not choosing to go and check that 1 in 34 check at Mega Sisters, deciding I'm just going to go straight up to the moon, because what could possibly be on Earth? It's the Legend Sword, but I don't think he's going to be terribly upset about missing that at the moment. And Bigdunka is getting ready for that lovely Baigan fight, which Invenerable managed to go and get himself through very nicely. We'll see if Bigdunka is able to go and make his second attempt go smoother than his first. And if not, this will give Invenerable some time to find the Magma Key and Rat Tail that are hiding somewhere on the moon somehow. This is going to be, depending on where these items are, could still very much so a race, as there are 2 key items to find. Routes to the moon are very dependent. Very dependent on how you go and choose to approach things, and a lot of people like to go and just go straight down to the bottom, because there's a lot of dense checks there. But on our lunar dais, we will see what character we have, and it is Yang, the Punch Mage. I don't know if Invenerables are going to go and be interested in Punch Mage.
After the grind that he did, I would be highly surprised if he took him, and he's not. I didn't think so.
Yeah, I think we're very unlikely to actually take Cecil to Zeromus this fight, or this seed, as we are definitely going to have a fair amount of experience. While, yeah, this is a little ugly, and it seems like bigdunka is not having the success that Invenerable did, because it comes down to really
And we're back.
slight technical issue, I believe.
Yeah, Discord's just not playing nice right now, so we apologize for technical difficulties.
Plague is at their vanilla spot as well, so is this even shuffled in any appropriate fashion?
I do not believe this seed has been sufficiently randomized.
I don't know, I think the Demistat Magus was sufficiently random for my taste. I don't think we're going to see Invenerable worry too much about these counts between the damage that he has and the fact he has a curse ring on Tella. We're going to go and be seeing some... We might even see that count stay at 0 for some time. Because fun fact about the ATB system, if you go and keep the... If you have your characters in the fight acting too quickly, you can prevent statuses from updating. This is something that helps with that Shura fight, as you can go and keep a very well-assured wall on Ashura with just letting her go and keep acting. If she keeps casting spells, her wall never falls off, so you can just throw whatever you want at her, and she will go and keep sending it straight back to you.
Dunka checking to see if there's value at Cave Bahamut, and we find magic guards or an officer fight. So definitely going to be somewhat easy. Oh, it's the officer, so it's not that bad. They're going to be vulnerable to the hourglasses, which Dunka's got plenty of. So this fight's going to be literally free.
Yep, not an extraordinary amount of experience here, but there is enough to go and be worth taking out the officer and trying to get some life glitches off, I think. And I did not see what we got from the plague spot. Hopefully our runner can go, or tracker can go. Oh, excuse me, it looks like we got the earth crystal from there, which highly sought after, because we could go and have that Cecil right there. And if that's our Cecil, Invenerable will probably run into that Demist and be rather annoyed, and then be less annoyed when it turns out to just be a Legend Sword.
Yeah, it's not going to be Invenerable's favorite situation of Demist at Magus Sisters for Earth Crystal, but yeah, close enough. We got 50% of the puzzle.
Yeah, we still have a good chunk to find because we still have 4 character spots to check with that Earth Crystal, Package, and Giant. When we find the Rat Tail and Cave Bahamut, there is value for bigdunka. Does bigdunka go and choose to turn this in right away because it's required? Or does he choose to keep exploring the moon in the hopes of finding the magma key? Because he does still need another key item. He still needs to go and find some way to find... Well, I guess if Cecil's in the Giant, he could potentially not need another key item, but he is choosing not to go and trade the Rat Tail away right now, instead choosing to go into the Lunar Palace.
Yeah, the likelihood of not needing the rest of the Lunar Palace is so low. This is the smart play here. Go in, clear the bosses, and hopefully find at least either he's going to find the Earth Crystal, hopefully find the package, as well as find the Magma Key and the Rat Tail, or Rat Tail into one of other set items.
Yeah, we only have 2 chains left, and Invenerable's found one, and bigdunka has the other, so we're running low on spots to go and find characters. And bigdunka is getting rid of Sid and taking a fresh Yang. I wonder if we're going to go and see some D-Machine, a big grind, or if Yang is going to go and be a... bigdunka is going into the big whale and is using the crystal. He is choosing to leave the moon and check this Rat Tail.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that, but I mean, it's definitely a viable strategy because a big gamble like this is probably what he's going to need to knock off Invenerable at this point, in my opinion.
It's also the fact that he needs to trade away the Rat Tail no matter what. So he could try and gamble and save time on getting whatever he needs, like getting everything he needs on the moon. But if he goes here and turns in the Rat Tail, he will know for absolutely certain that whatever he gets beyond this Rat Tail may or may not be required. He'll have it already, and he can go and just stay on the moon until he finds whatever parts he needs and then leave, skipping everything else there.
Stardust Rod, definitely helpful. Invenerable's going to like that with Palom. Duncan, not quite as much. Oh, yeah, he just save scummed. So, that was the plan all along. He'll have to go back and get it and do it again later because it's part of the objectives, but he can do that right before he turns in his pass.
True, though I think with the amount of time he committed there, it might have been a bit of 6 one way, half dozen the other. But Invenerable goes and finds the package and the pink tail at the lunar spot, so he has all of the character checks left. He needs to find the Rat Tail, which he's not going to find until he goes to Cave Bahamut. And then we need to find a Magma Key, which could be behind our Earth Crystal. So this could just come down to how well and how quickly can you full clear this seed.
Yeah, at this rate, we're shooting for a full 17-17 here, because I'm trying to think. There aren't many spots left where the adamant could be, and then we have to find the magma crystal. So that's going to put us at a full 17-17, minus the package. But we may end up finding that anyway.
Yep, if adamant is at the Paladin spot and Invenerable chooses Wyvern at the Paladin spot, so that is probably not the thing you want to go and see here. Looks like he does get a Star Veil off on Porum. He does not get a second Star Veil off on Fusoya, which is a bit unfortunate. And the unique feature of this spot, it's very difficult. I don't think it's actually possible to go and properly run buffer at this spot, as it didn't pop up that can't run message, which bigdunka was trying to go and get. But both of our runners in less than pleasant fights, though. Invenerable using an Ice Claw and Edge, going and taking out Rubicant in the Ogopogo spot, getting tons of experience for it, and
finding the adamant.
So, Invenerable found character checks so far at the bottom, but he's not found the Rat Tail he's looking for, which is in Cave Bahamut, and we have not seen the Magma Key. There is still a chance it is behind the Earth Crystal, it could still be here at this Peldon spot, which is giving bigdunka a bit of trouble as Wyvern is throwing out spells and really just taking out his team before he can do much. But dodging nukes is very helpful because that goes and gives bigdunka a bit more breathing room. That gets him closer to going and getting through this spot. Just throwing up life potions. Here comes out more nukes. There's another person going down. There's Porum. That's a little unfortunate. You really need to go and just start getting... You just need to have people up to soak hits so you can go and throw a few attacks out and get your bodies back up to soak this damage.
Yeah, this fight is very painful when you're not properly leveled, and if you can't manipulate the agility properly, or just can't manipulate it, period, because of where it is. This fight is just painful.
And there is a reset for bigdunka.
Yeah, Wyvern is just one of those fights you honestly kind of hope to see early, so Wyvern can just mega nuke himself to death. And Invenerable finding CPU, this could be bad, but he should be leveled enough where it shouldn't be too big of an issue.
Yeah, and he also has 2 back row glitch melee fighters. He still has the spoon, I believe, so he can throw that and just get rid of the CPU's HP. I don't think Invenerable's going to have much trouble here. Well, it's never too much trouble with CPU. It's just a matter of dealing with the annoyingly high HP.
The CPU is not a hard fight. It's an annoying fight.
Very much so agreed. And bigdunka choosing not to go to back to Wyvern and just choosing to go back to the bottom. So he's going to be in Invenerable's heals. He is going to be 3 checks behind Invenerable, which will, depending on how things go, this could be bad for him. But if Invenerable chooses to fade, say, that Wyvern spot or the Wyvern at Peldon, then that could be good for bigdunka, as bigdunka knows anything he finds comes from the moon. He knows that Rattail is not going to give him what he needs, so he's not going to be tempted to go and save scum that. It's still close, and there's always a chance bigdunka goes to Giant while Invenerable is checking the package, and Earth Crystal finds Cecil, and Cecil is there.
Yeah, honestly, this race is really up for grabs. It really just kind of depends on who goes where, and where that magma key is going to be.
Magma key is either behind Earth or
behind Wyvern.
Yep. And this Invenerable deciding to reset out of that instead of taking the Excalibur, which you do have an edge. You did just throw a Gungnir spear. It's not necessarily a down. It's kind of enough trade to go and trade a Gungnir for an Excalibur, in my opinion, but maybe he threw something else that I missed. He tosses Avenger. Yeah, I can see him deciding I'd really rather have that with Kane in his party. And now Invenerable is going to go and discover this Wyvern here, which is one of the rudest bosses we have left. There's we're running rather low on bosses. We have checked an extraordinary number of spots so far. We found Odin.
But with the cursed Tele Anchor, he should be able to get more of those Star Veils off, keep more of his party alive.
Well, if you're at battle speed 1 and you can't run buffer, that might go and make things difficult, as you can't run buffer in this spot. But he does get a Star Veil off on Fisoya, and that's it. We'll see if anyone survives. Nope. Invenerable deciding I'm not even going to bother with this. We're going to redo this fresh, and he's probably going to lower battle speed before he gets into that fight. But here's bigdunka finding the D-Lunars, and looks like he's going to try and wait it out as well to do those lovely frog strats that Invenerable went and showed off. But Invenerable choosing not to go to Cape Bahamut, and he is going to clear the spot. He doesn't want to leave anything hanging. He knows he needs 2 key items, and Rattail could be there. He can't leave that at all. Magma Key could be there. He can't leave that at all. But Magma Key can still be behind that Earth Crystal, which this could go and give a bit of time to bigdunka if bigdunka keeps clearing. And if bigdunka chooses to chase the Earth Crystal rather than continue to stay on the mood as a gamble, that could go and give bigdunka a lead.
It very well might, even though it might be a slight one.
A lead is a lead, and that at this point, you don't need to come in. You don't need to come in multiple minutes ahead of your opponent. You just need to come in ahead of them. And to answer a question from chat, yes, these are vanilla D-Lunars. Bonus, we also have a vanilla Plague. After Invenerable went and turned his battle speed down to 5, he now has almost all of his party surviving. Tella the only one not getting a Star Veil off, which is kind of expected. And
which is actually, and honestly, it's actually kind of a bonus. Try to keep Tella's agility as low as possible.
Agreed. And Tella really doesn't gain that much from getting levels, so just killing him off, letting him lay on the floor is not a terrible thing to have. Kane throwing on his Avenger, Basoya bouncing nukes, Edge throwing Kane's other weapons. I don't think this Wyvern is going to go and be giving Invenerable much more trouble.
No, none at all. Not after lunar microwave techniques.
Was that nuke? I will show you how.
For a protect ring. Oh, that's horrible.
Get your 17s out of 17s out in chat, because Invenerable is going to be full clearing the seed. He is going to go to Cape Bahamut because he needs that rat tail. He knows he needs 2 key items, which is why he is not abandoning the moon. He could theoretically get Earth Crystal to rat tail to Magma Key, but that is a less likely scenario, and he's going to see what's very free in this Cave Bahamut, so he is going to go grab that. Bigdunka needs to go and kill that plague, and then he needs to leave the moon and chase that, because that is where the Magma Key is at. We have seen every other spot in the game. And with this Earth Crystal, bigdunka will go and have all the parts he needs to go and check and find any character locations. So that might go and incentivize him to just leave, which we go and get him definitely go and help eliminate some of Invenerable's lead at the moment, because Invenerable, this is the last spot on the moon. After this, if he ever goes back into the whale, it's to go to Giant. The moon has been stripped bare.
Invenerable pulling off a double life glitch on this officer, which is going to be the chunk of experience from this fight. So he's taking a little bit of time getting the rest of his grind done while he can. So good on him.
Yep, taking extra experience where he can, that is definitely something that is not the worst thing to get. He is getting that bonus experience, will definitely go and come in helpful. And just throwing out Quakes with his team to go and finish off these soldiers, not even bothering to kill Tella, he's got a curse ring, he's happy to let this happen. Bigdunka, in the meantime, going and reflecting a count back onto Plague, which will go and kill Plague. Plague is not immune to instant death, but if he's too fast, he won't be able to. But I'm pretty sure we've got enough agility, we have a high enough speed anchor to go and not let Plague be immune to, abuse that ATB system the same way that we did that Invenerable did to keep his characters alive through count.
And now it really boils down to, where is Cecil? Is Cecil behind Earth Crystal, or is Cecil behind Package?
Well, I imagine Invenerable is going to choose to do Earth Crystal first, because after he turns in this rat tail and gets his Stardust Rod, he's going to know he either has to find Demist, who is at Magus Sisters with a Legend Sword, or he needs to go and clear the Earth Crystal, which we now know gives the Magma Key.
So it was Zot all along, huh?
Zot, everyone's favorite key item spot check, because why wouldn't you want to go and spend 5 minutes in cutscenes and 2 boss fights for 1 key item?
2 characters?
2 characters who are not Edge of Versoya this seed, because we've already found them. But if it's Cecil, that's everything Invenerable needs to do. If it's not Cecil, you still have a hope of Giant being in play.
No, he's going to check the package first.
Interesting choice. Going and giving Fusoya the Stardust Rod and then going to save. If Cecil's here, maybe he's going to think I want to go.
And there he is.
Well, we are definitely going to be seeing a lot of bosses this seed. We will not see the Giant, and those will be the only two bosses we don't fight this seed. And it looks like the Lilliputians are not terribly interested in letting the Mist look down on them.
Now, here's the question. If you're Invenerable and you've got Tower left, do you sack Tella for Paladin?
No, you keep Tella. You want your anchor. Paladin Cecil starts at 13 agility, which is surprisingly high for a level 1 character. I don't see Invenerable giving up Cecil because I don't see Invenerable doing enough grinding to get Cecil up to the levels to really be helpful. I think he has enough levels right now. Honestly, if Invenerable is going to dump anyone, I think he would dump Palom because Palom is not going to be super helpful in that final fight.
With his party composition, you're probably right.
It also means that Rosa is either in Zot or Rosa will be in the Giant, which if Fusoya is going to be your main white mage this seed. Unless you're a bigdunka and Captorum who is struggling to survive some of these moon fights and missing out on experience, and there is bigdunka getting the adamant and resetting out and not even keeping the experience.
And we've got dolls in Kaipo. These are just gonna be laughably dead in 2 seconds flat.
Yep, this is child's play. And to answer a question from chat, we have the option to set 5 random objectives that are determined when the seed is rolled. The runners don't know that until they start the seed, get their 2 characters, leave Baron, and after they go and launch the airship at the start of the seed, you'll get a message from Guiding Way telling them what their objectives are. If you don't randomize your objectives, you'll still get this message, but when you ask for 5 random objectives, that is the first time you learn what they are. But here we see bigdunka is fighting the CPU, which will lead to an Excalibur, and then he will be left with the decision of fighting the Wyvern, who will only give a Protect Ring, or leaving, going to Earth, turning in the package to get Cecil, and then going up Zot to find the Magma Key.
Yeah, it looks like Invenerable did ditch Cecil, so honestly not unexpected at this point, at this stage of the game. Why would you trade out, solid, consistent damage for a level 1 Cecil? Just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if we found Cecil sooner, I imagine Invenerable would have been more inclined to keep him, as we do have the Defense Sword and the Avenger. Kane can use one, Cecil can use the other. Rock's coming out from bigdunka, but not enough to kill CPU, so while I would say, hopefully this goes and kills the CPU quickly. Ooh, still taking a fair amount of damage. Normally, as many people may notice, Globe 199 usually does 999 damage. Here, it can sometimes do less than that, as this is not a very high match power spot, but it's high enough to still kill characters. But there it goes, CPU's down, getting some experience, learning White on Porum, which might be worth keeping, and going to discover that this is an Excalibur. And bigdunka has now finished the bottom of the moon, is exiting out, is now stuck with the question, do I do Wyvern or do I gamble Zot?
The correct answer is to gamble Zot, and that appears to be what he's doing.
Bigdunka is deciding, if it's behind Wyvern, I'll accept I've lost. I'm going Zot, and I don't blame him. And a question from chat. Does Invenerable go and finish this Earth Crystals check, or does he save Scum Demist? That is a very good question, as I think that is... Invenerable is just not hesitating, choosing to finish, thinking that I'll get through the cutscenes fast and I can go and get myself out of Zot. We see Rydia is one of the characters here, and that means the other character here is either Rosa, our one true love, or Edward.
Our one true hatred.
You said it, not me.
Edward has his place, and his place is on the floor. Tella, why did you rescue him? You should have let him squish. That would have been funny.
Look, Tella's going and trying to not upset his daughter, who can apparently show up in different spots of the seed with the water hack. Not choosing to change characters, not worried about switching anchors, just going straight into this fight, and I don't think we have many rude bosses left here. I don't think there's actually anything terribly annoying left for us to... Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's free. It's freer than free. It's free.
Goodbye, King Queen Eblin. You will not be missed. Okay, fine. Maybe Edge will miss you, but he's not actually very good at missing things, it seems. He's got pretty good accuracy. But there is Invenerable.
I expected better from you, Baka. I expected better from you.
I think you need to adjust your expectations of me.
I mean, I thought I had the bar set low, but apparently not low enough. And there's that magma key. So we're just gonna drop it off, and then Invenerable's gonna be right up to the moon. He'll probably get this seed finished probably about the 153-ish mark.
Yeah, there's not much left. We're going to go and see what happens when you go and drop the magma key down the well when you have already opened up the well. And bigdunka going and look to take Rydia. I'm guessing he wants an anchor. Or not. Dismissing Rydia and dismissing Edward. But bigdunka being able to just walk in here because he's already found the magma key already found the Demus who had that legend sword. Invenerable now has this crystal and will be going to Zeromus, I expect, right away. I don't think he needs any more experience. I don't think he's going to be particularly keen on getting anything else. I think he's worried, I have full cleared the seed. I need to get to Zeromus now.
Yeah, full clearing the seed at an hour 45 with these objectives. That's pretty darn fast. So that just goes to show the caliber of these two runners.
Agreed, and I'm seeing some flags coming out in chat. What's up with this Z flag nonsense?
So here's the major question of the hour: whose butt are we gonna kick? Part of this flag set is the Zeromus sprite is randomized. We could get anything from Mike Tyson miss to Ultros miss to the animals.
And then some more, because we have 455 different sprites at last count. Partially thanks to Board, also heavily thanks to Scala Kitty, who has done a lot of the art. So, with your Z flags out, let's find out whose butt are we kicking tonight? Do you have any favorites?
Kefkamus.
Ooh, that's definitely a good one. I am very fond of Zero Word because I played a lot of 5 distinct character seeds and I never really enjoyed getting Edward. And we do see bigdunka is getting his Cecil. He is going to be he's going to be finishing the seed soon as well, but Invenerable does have the advantage of getting to this Z fight that much sooner, so we'll see if he is able to finish this off. He does have pretty decent levels, but one overpowered Big Bang could go and take up Fusoya, and that could send things spiraling out of control.
Yeah, honestly, this seed is pretty much over, in my opinion. But it's going to take something pretty not pretty out of character, very out of character, and we have Omus as our final boss tonight. So we are going to be kicking the butt of a giant O.
Or I believe this is a 0 for Zeromus, because Scala, like me, loves her puns.
Trade disappoint.
Well, at least it's not an empty set.
What am I going to do with you? Anyway, looks like, yep, as is expected, Invenerables is setting up for hybrid strats. Kane and Edge are already zerked, so they're just going to be swinging wildly, while Fu and Palom are going to be bouncing those spells off Tella, at least until the first Big Bang.
Yeah, it looks like Invenerable choosing just to go and throw potions, because I do not believe Palom went and learned Nuke. He's a bit shy on HP, it seems. And here comes the first Big Bang. Tella is queuing up a Cure 4, it looks like. Going to throw it out on Fasoya, it seems. And then is probably going to be expecting him to retire very swiftly.
Tella's old. He's been with us for a long time in this seed. He needs a nap.
I mean, he's looking pretty young and spry with that very, very luscious brown hair.
Well, it looks more gray than brown to me, but he's still old. He still needs a nap. All he does is he uses Just for Men.
And we see that bigdunka has gotten his Cecil. He takes Cecil over Porum. So we'll see where that goes. He does have the Excalibur. Maybe he's going to go and do a bit of grinding, but he needs to get into the Zeromus fight sooner rather than later, as we're at the end of the seed. Invenerable is in the fight. If bigdunka wants to win this at this point, if he's not getting to the Zeromus fight now, he needs Invenerable to wipe, which is looking less and less likely, as Invenerable is just throwing out damage, chunking Zeromus, and is really going and throwing out every bit of damage she can.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't expect bigdunka to, to level up Cecil at all. I expect him to use him as an anchor, just because he doesn't have the Tella with the cursed ring to do so.
Yeah. Now, as he has his crystal, he is in go mode, and he is going to Eblin. He is going to... Oh, excuse me. He needs to go and turn in the crystal. He needs to turn in the rat tail to get his crystal. Pardon me. That's my mistake.
Yeah, he save scummed that earlier. So just one more quick thing, and then he'll be up. But it's going to be too little, too late.
Yep, there's Roxanne Invenerable. That is the last phase of the fight. The last 12,000 HP. We see Zeromus go and start throwing rocks, but it's not going to be enough. Any second now, I think we're going to go and see a flash and Zeromus start to crumble.
There's the crackle bang, and Invenerable has won with an official time of look to me 151.30. So get your GGs in chat for Invenerable.
Indeed, and we'll see if we can get him in here for an interview. That is definitely a time for a 17 out of 17 clear. Invenerable goes 3-0, going and getting a very nice pool of opponents for the next weekend, and we are joined by him now. Congratulations on your win, Invenerable.
Hey,
what?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I was going to thank you, but go on.
Oh no, I will let you be gracious first. I'm nothing if not gracious.
Hey, okay, thank you. That was a seed.
So with the early Tella, how long did you think you were going to keep him? Did you plan to keep him the entire seed, or are you thinking he's going to go and do a bit of work and then we'll let him go and enjoy his retirement?
I'm a huge Tella fan, and with that cursed ring in the pot right outside the Baron Inn, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna keep him. The utility's really great, and then of course I mean, you saw what he did in my Zeromus fight, throwing out those Cure 4s, shucking off those big bangs like they were nothing. We live the Tella life here.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we expect from you, Invenerable. But anyway, GG's on the seed. How does it feel, 3-0?
Honestly, I don't know which would be worse. Like both the 2-1 and the 3-0 bracket for the coming week are full of absolutely terrifying racers. I mean, 3-0, okay. They're both equally scary, but at least this way, if I get one more win either next week or the week after, I'm pretty much set to make brackets and can just relax a little bit. 3-1, you have the pressure of both that amazing pool of people who, some of them I didn't expect to take a loss yet, combined with still needing to get, more wins. So I don't want to coast or rest on my laurels, but it definitely lets you calm down just a bit, being over the Swiss hump.
That's definitely some very poignant advice. As we had a lot of very good runners go and take early losses, which, yeah, I agree. There's a lot of scary runners in both pools. I don't think we are going to have any easy fights going onward, but do you have any preference for people to go and face next week?
Not really. I mean, there are okay, fine. I'm gonna call out Penguinator. I would like a Zeromus Zone 2 rematch. We finished first and second in the Zeromus Zone finals this past fall, and I think just having a rematch would be ridiculously hype, no matter win or lose. So, yeah, let's go with let's angle for a Penguinator match next week.
I, for one, approve, though maybe it's a little early to go and have such a grudge match, but it could make could go and have a repeat match later in the tournament, so I'd be excited for that no matter what.
Anyway, thank y'all for having me. Thank the Restream team for doing all the hard work to put the show on. Thank you, Commentary and Tracking and RPG Limit Break for letting us use their platform tonight. And yeah, looking forward to a few more good races to close out this week, and can't wait to see what Week 4 has in store.
Yeah, Week 4 is definitely where the hype definitely intensifies, especially in where you're going to be in that 3-0, and even bigdunka in that 2-1 bracket.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to dip out and watch the last of this Zeromus fight going on. And thanks again, Baka, Questifer, Simbu, and Bahamut for all y'all are doing. And have a good weekend, y'all.
Thank you as well.
Have a good weekend. Alrighty, so bigdunka is on his Zeromus fight. Looks to be taking easy. Did that Cecil Anchor strat. Getting hit with a black hole, so the damage isn't coming out quite as fast as it should be. But otherwise, he's still very much in control. Still very much expecting to breeze through this fight very quickly.
Yeah, I think there was bigdunka had a bit of an early stumble with Fu getting knocked out early in the fight, which caused him to go and need to delay getting all of his Zerkers up online and doing damage. So that could have gone and stalled him out slightly, which definitely is less than ideal. But bigdunka going and rationing Vesoya's mana, I don't know if he has either twos, which may be an issue, as that will slow him down a bit. If he needs to go and hold off on casting spells to Vesoya to avoid burning through all of his mana, that will definitely be less than ideal.
Yeah, no, I agree. But right now, he's just letting the game beat itself right now. I expect to crackle bang here pretty quick.
We do see another shake, so we could see another big bang. And Kane's doing surprisingly little damage. I don't know if he's got a proper back row glitch going on, because he's going from 1400 damage to 900, which is very low for a Kane using a defense sword.
Yeah, especially it's an Avenger sword, but he had the defense on first, so it's gonna there's a glitch. I don't know if it's a glitch, but it when you swap mid battle from one sword to an Avenger sword, it maintains the attack power of the previously equipped weapon. So yeah, so you are correct. in it being a defense sword. It's just he's auto berserked right now.
Yep, and Fusoya is out of MP. I don't know if he's going to be able to recover that MP anyway, or if he really needs to just save the last bit of mana Fusoya has to throw out Cure 3s.
But there's the rocks falling from the sky, so as long as no one takes too much damage, this fight is over.
Yep, this will definitely be a final fight. We have a defense sword in there, we have a lightsaber, so this fight is definitely near the end. Edge can just go and check this, but another meteor comes out. That could take out Edge and be a little messy.
Oh yeah, it's getting to be a little messy.
Kane is throwing out damage. We've got a Cure 3 coming out. This will definitely do extra healing. The worst thing that happens is it just comes down to Yang and Fusoya, which, if we get enough healing, we can go and keep this going. But this is looking a little messy.
Yeah,
Kane goes down.
This is cutting it real close here.
And that's the last of Fusoya's MP. Whatever bigdunka is doing, he needs to go and do it now because he doesn't have much left. And this does not finish off Zeromus, so we need to go get more healing out. We need to get back around to Yang's turn and queue up another attack as he's just getting pelted with rocks. And Fusoya is taking a hit this time as well. He's been doing a good job of dodging them, but this is looking ugly for bigdunka. Another Meteo that could go and bring Fusoya down to critical HP. It just hits Yang, so we're still going. Yang goes and throws out another power. Zeromus is still not dead. He's got to be extraordinarily low, but the desperate Cure 2 coming out. Got another power coming out. We have Cure 2s in the inventory. We can go and throw one of those up if bigdunka choosing not to. There's another Meteo hitting at least Yang, it seems, maybe even Fusoya. Hitting Yang, this is definitely not what you want to see, but there is the flash.
Yeah, there's the crackle bang. That was closer than it really needed to be. Bigdunka finishing with an official SRL race time of 2 hours and 10 seconds, almost a full 10 minutes behind Invenerable. But get your GGs in chat for bigdunka.
Indeed, a 17 out of 17 clear, that's definitely not something you can go and do quickly, and getting it just over 2 hours is still a good clear. And we are joined by bigdunka. GG's on your finish, bigdunka. That Zeromus fight was definitely a bit scary. How are you feeling going into it, and how are you feeling in the middle of it?
Oh, totally calculated. No, it's funny. I'd forgotten that I didn't back row glitch Kane. And I knew as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this could get a little messy. And then I had the early food death, and it took a little bit of time to get back to. So yeah, I was kind of just sitting back with my legs kicked up and my hands in the air and expecting it to just melt, and it did not melt.
Yeah, that was quite the finish. You were definitely going and doing everything you can, and Zeromus is something that's easy to take for granted when you go and have a 3 melee team, and then things like that happen where berserks go off, you don't have Bacchus wines, and you need to go and just keep eking out damage, and you're slowly losing ground to Meteo. That good work on getting through that fight with the resources you had.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that I still had a stack of Cure 3s in my inventory. That probably would have made it a little bit easier, but again, it was all calculated. It's all good. I wasn't worried about it.
Speaking of calculated, that Magus Sisters check, what went through your mind when you saw that boss?
Oh man, I freaked because I didn't want to do beg on there because I knew I had to do a little bit of grinding and it was going to take some time to do, and I just said, you know what, let's take a shot, and then saw it and like, whoa.
We were all impressed when we found that Demas there. I was on Team Demas Darkness because that would have been the perfect, that would have been a fitting troll for this seed.
Yeah, I was feeling great. It was super great. And then what was it? Adamant, I believe, or it was Legend. And then I was very.
Yeah, that was such a crushing letdown because even if it was something like Rat Tail or Earth Crystal into giving you Cecil, that would have been a massive thing.
Oh my god.
Get.
Yeah, and then it's at that point you hope that Dark Crystal is actually at Dagon. Well, it almost has to be at that point, and then it just takes Moon time away. And I think that was my initial thought. It's like, if this leads to the 1, and then it leads to Rat, and that leads to Magma, or something like that, it's going to take forever to catch up to that. And, in the end, I think I took 3 gambles in that, and none of them paid off. And then if I would have taken the 4th gamble, which was the Earth Crystal Leave, and I was this close from doing it, that would have just, that would have made it really close.
Yeah, that was definitely something where it's very easy to see. Like, I just need 1 key item, and Earth sucks. I don't want to go and do that. I want to finish clearing Moon. And then you find, what was it? An Adamant at Ogopogo, Excalibur at the Crystal Sword Altar for a seed that requires Cecil that you don't get until you go to the package that you find at D Lunar Spot, so you're never leveling that poor Paladin up. And it comes down to requiring the Earth Crystal from the White Spear Altar. That, I can't blame you for not checking that. That is a very hard sell.
Yeah, well, I think in my mind it was, I've done 3 of these already. I don't really want to do a 4th, because I scummed the Rat Tail, then I had to go back and do that again, because it wasn't worth the transition to go back up. And then the D-Miss check, and there was another one too, and I can't remember what it was, but just the 4th one would have been the one. But oh well.
Yeah, the other save scum was Luca Cave.
Oh right. Well, no. So that was straight up. What was in there? That was garbage, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was garbage.
Yeah. That one it wasn't. It was the. Okay, there was 4. I remember 4. I don't remember the 4th. But oh well, it is what. I think when you go against somebody of Invenerable's caliber and you're at this late in the seed, in the early game it's a little less. In the mid game, you're like, gotta start taking a few risks because you kind of know what's going on. And then in the late game, it's just kind of eh.
Yeah, that's definitely, the seed was very the Bygin was really the big rude roadblock that everyone avoided the seed. And Venerable saw that and went everywhere else. He went and did not do Twin Harp, so he didn't go and get that pan, which gave you a bit of time to go back. But Bygin was just so very rude.
Yeah, and that pan was such a disappointment because I had the thought that he probably did not do this. I've watched him race several times, and he's usually the type of person that's going to go hook early. And when I saw the pan at the harp, I kind of knew he hadn't checked that yet. And then unfortunately, because I checked it immediately, I did Fey Marsh and then immediately went to turn it in. It was garbage. So
yeah, that was very unfortunate for us. Is we were hoping to get something out of the pan, and that for a 4 key item required seed, not getting anything out of pan seems very unlikely for you.
Yeah. So it is what it is. It was still actually pretty close. I think we both pretty much full cleared. I didn't go back and do Wyvern. I think that was the one spot I did not go back and do. But
yeah, Wyvern just gave a Protectoring.
Jeez, so much garbage.
Yeah, this seed made you go absolutely everywhere, and all of the good checks just led to garbage. This seed was just not nice at all.
Yeah.
Well, now that you're 2-1, how do you feel about your pool of opponents, including Dia and Dusty Grift, and lots of other fun names?
Dusty's in there? Oh,
yes.
Geez. I mean, it feels just like the 2-0 bracket. There's tons of the quality in this is just ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be luck of the draw. The 3 is the magic number, but I'd rather not want to wait till week 5 to try to get it. So, but it's not going to be any easier.
Yeah, it's hard to. You're definitely not going to be in for an easy time at this rate. So I wish you the best of luck.
Gonna need it. Much appreciated. Yeah, thanks everybody for putting the stream on tonight. It's always fun. Much appreciated.
And thank you for being restreamed. This is definitely something we appreciate to broadcast on our lovely partner RPG Limit Break and just showing off this tournament and showing off this lovely randomizer for all people to see.
Yeah. Again, much appreciated, and have a great night, everyone.
Have a great night, Dunka. GG.
Yeah, GG's.
And with that, I believe we are at the end of our broadcast. A very close race, a very tight race, a very exciting race. And we are almost at the end of the third week of Swiss. We'll be going into the fourth week starting on Monday. Are there any things you're looking forward to in the next few days, Christopher?
Oh, let's take a look at the schedule. Let's see what we've got here.
Yeah, I believe we have a number of matches coming up tomorrow, but we're not.
Yeah.
No matches scheduled for Sunday, but we do have a plans for doing another runner review on Free Enterprise. So if you were enjoying those, keep an eye on that channel to go and see more there. But
yeah, the two matches left that really stand out to me are going to be Aizen Tayama versus Demarine. That's going to be tomorrow, February the 29th. And I have to do time math because I'm in Pacific time. So 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then Penguinator versus Daya on Sunday, March 1st. That's going to be at 6 p.m. So those are the two matches right off the top of my head that really catch my eye.
Both very exciting matches, though. We can go and get a lot of exciting matches coming out. So if you like Free Enterprise, go and give a feel free to go and join us on their Discord.